Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the September meeting of the Historic Conservation Commission. I'm Gary Lader, Chair of the HCC, and I would like to introduce the commission. To my left is Jeff Long, our Historic Officer and Registered Architect. To my far left is Craig Evans, resident of the district. And then next to him, to my left, is Desiree Strasser, resident of the Mount Airy District. To my right is Todd Chambers, architect with business interest in the district. And to my far right is Mike Simonson, our chief building inspector. Ordinance information is the purpose and intent of the City of Bethlehem to promote, enhance, and preserve historic resources and traditional community character for the education, cultural, economic, and general welfare of the public through the preservation, protection, and regulation of buildings and areas of historic interest or importance within the city which have been determined to be of local, state, or national significance. The way the meeting will unfold is the applicants will be taken in order. After identifying the project address and the presenters, our historic officer will provide a background on the building and any recommendations. At that time, the applicant will present their project and plan. The board will then address the project, allow public comment, if any, and ultimately create a motion to approve as presented, approve with modifications, table the project with clear recommendations, or deny the project with reasons for the denial and changes or improvements which would result in a positive recommendation. For public comment, there is a 3-minute time limit, and comments must be specific to attributes of the building only. Speakers are to announce themselves with their name and address before speaking. The Historic Conservation Commission is a recommending board, and the results of our meeting will be presented to City Council, and their vote will be binding. Please do not forget to secure your permit from the permit office on the first floor of City Hall before you begin your project. Above all, I remind everyone to conduct themselves in a civil manner and always use a civil tone. The commission is here to help you with your project. We are a group of volunteers who are dedicated to historic preservation and restoration of older buildings in Bethlehem and beyond. If any commission members have a conflict of interest with any of the applications on tonight's agenda, please come forth at this time. No, doesn't look like there is. So with that, I will ask everyone to sign in, and will the first applicant for 306 South New Street kindly come to the front desk here and then just announce your names for us. And after you announce your names, we'll let Jeff get started with the description of your project.
Good evening, Eric Turner, Community Bank.
Hi, Eric.
Hi.
Wendy Kern with Bartush Signs.
Hi, Wendy. Thank you both for joining us.
So 306 South New Street, the building description, period style, and defining features. Construction of this semi-detached 6-story commercial building located on the corner of South New Street and West 3rd Street was initiated in 2016 and is contemporary in style. Primary facades on both streets include glass and aluminum storefronts at the street level, are clad in brick on the 2nd through 4th levels, while the uppermost floor levels and the corner are clad in glass and metal panels. The facade of the 6th floor is set back and has a thin projecting roof, creating an open-air terrace along the north and east facades. Pardon me. As a reminder, the HCC is mandated with preserving structures dating from the designated era of the Historic Conservation District, which is circa 1895 to 1950. Thus, this building is not considered significant to the district. Proposed alterations, I tweaked the agenda slightly just to reflect what was submitted. The applicant proposes to install 2 new aluminum signs on the main facades and various signage in the storefront windows and doors. Guideline citations I used for my assessment include the Secretary of Interior Standards number 9, that has to do with new additions, exterior alterations, or new construction. In this case, exterior alterations that should not destroy materials, features, etc. The BEFM ordinance that Mr. Later read at the beginning of tonight's meeting, and then the specific design guidelines for signage for the Historic Conservation Commission that talk about mounting mounting signs to minimize damage, reusing existing where possible, and continue with specifically, and I'll quote on page 3 of those design guidelines, the HCC will, quote, not recommend for approval aluminum sign boxes with internal lights and translucent sign faces. That'll be important as we move forward. So my evaluation of the effects on the district and recommendations. So I'm going to break it down first into the 2 signs for above the entrance that are in the sign band. The certificate of appropriateness application and the supplemental documents indicate the intent to install 2 new rigid signs within the sign band above the recessed corner entrance. So right at the intersection of the 2 main streets. There are vinyl graphics in the storefront doors at the same recessed entrance, as well as in the adjacent side lights of those doors. And then there's storefront window signage at the recessed corner entrance, along with, quote, backlit graphic light boxes within 3 storefront windows facing West 3rd Street. All of that signage is to reflect a new commercial tenant. Scale drawings of the proposed signage with elevation views of both facades, and that is indicated as required on the application that we received. Those scale drawings are not provided. So in my opinion, the application is incomplete. The proposed non-illuminated sign within the existing sign band at South New Street facade of the recessed corner entrance measures 28 inches tall by 144 inches wide. That matches the size of similar signage previously considered within the sign band of this structure by HCC as appropriate. If you can recall, several months ago, we had a new tenant further up South New Street, meaning further South New Street, and this sign matches in dimension of that sign. The proposed rigid backer is a 2-inch thick aluminum tube frame with 0.08 aluminum shoebox cover face, and I believe we had that same circumstance with the previously approved sign. That is installed using 1-inch angle brackets into the existing aluminum panel cladding. Based on some of the drawings we received, there is an offset between the backside of the rigid backer and the existing metal cladding. However, I couldn't find that dimension. Clarification by the applicant is warranted. The design of the sign includes a corporate logo composed of what I'll call woven links, almost like chain link, that form a diamond-shaped mesh at the left, followed by the text, quote, Community Bank, in large, bold, sans serif lettering. Overall, the logo and text dimensions are approximately 11 inches tall by 134 inches wide. The logo and dimensional letters are 0.375-inch thick aluminum cutouts that are flush mounted to the sign face. The sides and the face of the rigid backer are bright white in color. The logo of the woven links is orange in color, while all lettering is black in color. Proposed placement of the new sign in relation to the existing metal cladding is not indicated. Typically, we would expect dimensional lines. And because it's not to scale, I couldn't pull those dimensions, but it seems to be centered vertically and horizontally within the overall area of the existing sign band. So that's one of the 2 rigid signs. The next proposed non-illuminated sign within the existing sign band is at the West 3rd Street facade, also of the recessed corner entrance. Has a different dimension. It measures 39 inches tall by 200 inches wide, which is quite a bit larger than the other sign, as well as the previous sign up the street on South New Street.
Excuse me, Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
Are you referencing the same package as us?
There are 3 sets of items, so perhaps
I'm just wondering if Would you be able to reference the sheet number for the corresponding sign? I'm just having trouble keeping up with you.
Yeah, you're not the only one. It took me a while to figure out this stuff.
Okay.
Again, if we had had measured drawings as per the application, it would have been a lot easier, to be
We're on page
honest.
7, thanks. Okay.
So the sign that I just referenced is on page 3 of 13,
Okay, thank you.
and its detail is on page 4 of 13, as well as 5 of 13. And the sign I'm just started talking about is on page 6 of 13. The detail is on 7 of 13, 10 of 13, and what I believe both of them are on 11 of 13.
Thank you.
So the proposed rigid backer is yet again 2 inches thick aluminum tube frame with a 0.8 aluminum shoebox cover face installed using 1-inch angle brackets into the existing aluminum panel cladding. Yet again, there's no dimension for the offset, so that warrants clarification. Similar to the previous one, the design of the sign includes the corporate logo at the left, followed by the text Community Bank in large, bold sans serif lettering. Like the previous one, the logo has the corporate logo at the left, followed by the text Community Bank. And that the overall logo and text measures 15.5 inches tall by 186 inches wide. The logo and dimensional letters, like the previous one, are 0.375-inch thick aluminum cutouts that are flush mounted to the sign face. Sides and face similar to the other of the rigid backer are bright white in color. Logo is orange, lettering is black in color. Yet again, the proposed placement of the sign in relation to the existing metal cladding is not indicated because there's no dimensions and because it's not to scale, but seems to be centered vertically and horizontally within the area of the existing sign band. So the proposed signage within its existing sign band of this non-contributing structure is appropriate pending clarification of a few details. Confirm the critical installation dimensions of both signs. Typically for the motion, we would say, as I tried to emphasize, either centered horizontally and vertically, or give me a dimension from the top of the sign to the top of the cladding and the bottom of the sign, those kind of things. Also confirm the offset dimension between the back of the rigid backer and the existing cladding. I would like to add that HCC traditionally considers bright white inappropriate within the district. I would encourage the applicant to consider ivory or warm white as an appropriate alternative for the sign faces and the sides. HCC traditionally also encourages an offset pinstripe detail and a complementary color around the perimeter of all rigid signage within the district. So I would encourage the applicant to consider integrating this detail, noting the potential to possibly reduce the dimensions of the logo and or lettering to accommodate, because they're pretty tight to the sign. So those are the 2 rigid backer signs. Now I'm going to transition to graphics for the storefront entrances. Proposed graphics for the storefront entrance doors and the associated side lights. This is all within the recessed entry. They appear first on page 3 of 13. You can see them in orange. More of a detail is on 12 of 13 and 13 of 13. The signs measure 11 inches tall by 32 inches wide to fit the door openings. The widths of similar signage for the side lights are not provided, but seem to fill the width of the glazed openings. According to the supplemental drawings, the underside of the signage aligns with the horizontal rail at the push bar hardware. The signage for the left door includes an insert field at left and measures 8.5 inches tall by 11 inches wide that would indicate the hours of operation. Adjacent to that insert is the corporate logo, yet again of woven links that form a diamond-shaped mesh. Above the text Community in large, bold, sans serif lettering. Followed on the next text line, Bank, in small, all uppercase, bold, sans serif lettering. The logo and all lettering are white in color, while the background is orange in color. Signage for the right door includes the text Welcome, centered horizontally and vertically, written in large, bold, sans serif lettering. The logo, graphic, and the lettering are white in color, while the background of all signage is orange in color. The proposed signage within the storefronts and associated sidelights of this non-contributing structure is appropriate. I keep stressing non-contributing. If this was a contributing structure, we would have probably a different conversation.
Mhm.
The proposed signage labeled exterior windows, workroom, concept A and B. So let me try to find that. That is in a different packet with the kind of purple cover. So I'm switching gears now to window signage. Indicates this is printed vinyl measuring 84 inches tall by 57 inches wide and seems to cover the entire surface of the existing window at the left of the recess entrance facing South New Street. It seems that they're giving us options, concept A and B. The concept A includes various text in sans serif lettering of differing sizes alternating between black and white color, followed by a photograph inserted into a central field of the oversized corporate logo. The background is orange in color. Concept B includes a series of stripes composed of small repeating corporate logo at the top and bottom of the sign, with a larger corporate logo above the text community in large, bold sans serif lettering, followed on the next line with the text bank in medium, all uppercase, bold, sans serif lettering. The logo is orange in color and all lettering is black in color, while the background is light teal in color and accent stripes are white in color with occasional orange accents. As with the previous signage, the proposal the applicant should consider integrating an offset pen stripe in a complementary color around the perimeter of the sign as an appropriate detail. Otherwise, discussion is warranted to determine the appropriateness of the proposed window sign. Now, we are not the zoning board. We're not the zoning officer, so I'm not talking about assessing this on its size because we received it. I'm assuming the zoning officer has already seen this. But it does seem that looks like, without a drawing, it's indicated as in this window, but it's hard to know for sure how much of that window it fills. So now I'm switching gears to yet a third concept, and I believe it's yet a third packet. So I apologize, it's the last 2 pages of the same packet. The third packet are photographs of the existing conditions. Proposed signage labeled exterior windows, concept A and concept B, and that's different from exterior windows workroom, concept A and concept B. These are, quote, backlit graphic / light boxes, but I couldn't find any other details. There's no indication of what those light boxes are. There's no indication of what dimension, what kind of frame, how they're lit. So it's graphics, but no product information. The signs proposed are for select window locations along West 3rd Street, and I believe they're indicated with a check mark if you have to go back to that original packet.
I think it says number 7 where they go.
Page 6 of 13, it indicates the number 7 3 times. My assumption is that they're in those windows.
Okay.
Yet again, we have 2 concepts for these. Concept A, the signs, and they measure differently as well. Concept A signs measure 60 inches tall by 46 inches wide and include graphics similar to the previous window signage. I didn't go into detail because there are 3 different signs, but they're quite similar. And if you pass a resolution, I can capture more detail. Concept B, the signs each measure 42 inches tall by 42 inches wide, so they're square, meaning slightly smaller than the previous one, with a more simplified graphics in orange and teal colors. According to relevant guidelines for signage within the district, aluminum sign boxes with internal illumination are considered inappropriate within the Historic Conservation District. In my opinion, the applicant should consider vinyl signage installed on inside window surfaces with no internal illumination, which would mean similar to the previous sign for the window next to the recessed doors, as an appropriate alternative. You, however, as a commission, have every right to talk to the applicant and come to your own conclusions. Should the HCC determine that the proposed sign boxes are appropriate after discussing with the applicant, internal LED illumination should be limited to maximum 3000 K color temperature and satisfaction of the design guidelines to use low wattage warm light bulbs. Again, if you consider the proposed light boxes appropriate, the guidelines also indicate that no conduits, raceways, or junction boxes should be visible with any signage.
Okay, thank you, Jeff.
Sure.
Wendy, or would either of you like to tell us more about your signage and respond to any of Jeff's comments?
Sure. For the signs, and I apologize, I didn't realize that the dimensions were not on the front, but you are assuming correctly, we are going to center them, height, top to bottom, left to right, for both of those on the front, the one on that New Street side and the one on 3rd Street. When you mentioned the standoffs, you mean just the distance between the back of the panel to the wall? That's only going to be like a 1/4 to 1/8 inch. If that, it's just enough for the fasteners. They're going to be flat against the wall. It's just the thickness of, again, the washers or the flat fasteners in between. The window that is to the left of the door, the one that we call the showroom window, that, or workroom, that basically is used to give security and to give privacy to the people. That ATM machine is right inside that window. So either with the graphic or the one, it's not really a teal, it's more of that sandblasted frosted vinyl, like the privacy vinyl. Again, just to keep people from walking past, to not see the people that are at the ATM machine. So that's more of a security issue. The same with the windows. The light boxes, they're just very thin. They do have internal lighting to them, or we can do just vinyl on the windows. Again, they're windows that have offices inside. So again, just to give privacy and a little bit of security to people that are in those offices, with it being banking business.
So is the intent for the vinyl to fill the window opening in the workroom?
Yes.
Okay. And do you know, are we looking at concept A or B, or?
I think we just wanted to show a couple concepts. I can make a decision if you need to right now. I would, prefer concept A. But unless you were told differently.
No.
But if you need a decision, we can go with that.
We're trying to keep it low key, so we were kind of giving options
Yeah.
to see. Everybody has a different view and a different opinion, so we're just trying to keep everything secure, but
Yeah,
kind of open it up to whatever you feel
I-
is
I
more
think
appropriate.
it's easier for us to evaluate if you just say, this is what we want,
Got it.
and not have
You
options.
want A.
Let's go. Preference would be actually option B. In this case.
Oh, option B. Oh,
Option
okay.
B.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
So that would be the smaller squares for the office.
Well, no, I think we're talking about the
We're
workroom
talking about the
graphics.
workroom.
It's
Yep.
frosting with
So
the
that's the
applied,
frosted security
frosting with
vinyl.
the applied logo and the patterns top and bottom. Got it.
I just have a basic question about the extent of your tenant suite. So it looks like it would be all of 3rd, right? All of this side.
Correct.
How far back does it go? Does it go past?
Up to the first mullion of that first bay of windows.
Like up to this mullion here?
Correct.
Okay.
Actually a pier, Gary, I think, vertical pier.
So Todd, you're thinking is it's only up to here? This mullion here. Okay. Well, I'm gonna, here's a comment I have, which I know you're not gonna like. That corner, this metal panel here, I mean, we're always trying to steer people away from doing installations that are going to damage existing exterior facade cladding. And, it's not clear to me this was ever meant to be a sign band. And, the other tenants in the building, they had located their sign, one here and one here. And, I am wondering if you'd be, to me, this looks like what was meant to be the sign band. And I'm wondering if it would be better to install your signage in this band here on this side and on this side. And and again, the reason I'm saying that is because I just know it's going to create some damage that's hard to repair in these metal panels. And I think it was also important in the design of the building where the joints and the panels are. So, I would say at the very least, if the rest of the commission feels okay with the signage installation there, I would size the signage to at least correspond with those existing joints. But I would also encourage you to consider perhaps using what I think might have been intended as the signage band. Again, these are just some comments and feedback for you to consider.
I would just add to that, right? Community Bank is a tenant of the building, not the owner. We're directed by the owner per their master sign plan. And
Okay.
I know they have other spaces in the building to rent out and other plans where that
Yeah.
signage is going to go. And that's
Mhm.
where we were, where we were asked to pursue our signage.
Okay.
From the-
And that
from
was
the building owner.
that's what I was wondering about
Yep.
too. So that was a conversation with the building owner.
Correct. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, and that's important. So
Yep.
thanks for pointing that out.
And I think intentionally, we always try to do a sign on a panel just to minimize the damage to the building. It is in this case, that's what we pursued as well, just because we're a proponent of that too, being in
Mhm.
bank facilities and maintaining buildings. It's important we
Sure.
keep an eye on that.
I think we see options for the panels as well. What you call backlit graphics / light boxes. Can you tell us concept A versus concept B on those? Because they're
Just a smaller size.
Yeah, I think, concept A would be our preference. Obviously, B, we tried to show a smaller size to see if there was more of an appetite for that, just reducing the
Okay.
size of that. But there is the purpose behind these, as Wendy stated, was with the folks in their office and their computer monitors facing the street elevation and people walking by and seeing that sensitive information. We typically look to add some
Mhm.
privacy to.
Hmm. Hmm.
So on your elevation on page 6 of 13, just asking for clarity here. You show 3 panels that are 47.5 inches wide, but these graphics are not going in those 47.5 inch wide locations, or they are
No, they're going in the windows that are 75
and a half?
and a
Okay,
half, the ones that
okay.
have the number 7 on them,
I see.
the larger windows.
Are they just going in the lower half of those windows, or are they filling up just the lower half?
The lower.
Correct.
And are we talking backlit graphics and light boxes or vinyl? I think you said that it could be done either way.
It could be done either way.
I think we'd prefer vinyl. I mean, I think just from a consistency standpoint, if it's the same approach that we're using for the workroom,
Correct.
it makes everything a lot easier. So we're okay with vinyl.
Yes.
So is the intention that this is going to be an opaque piece of vinyl?
Yes.
Do you have, I don't know
Well,
if this is asking for too much, but
Window vinyl is never truly opaque.
okay.
It is more of a translucent type vinyl, but it doesn't allow a lot. You really have to strain to see through it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, my next question was going to be if there's any possibility of using, and I don't even know if this is done with vinyl, but I know, with shades you could control the amount of light and, they make them with perforations. I don't know if there's a similar kind of product for vinyl.
There is a perforated vinyl. Are you looking to allow light through or
Yeah, I'm
not
thinking in terms of, the comfort of
We would
the
be
people
okay
there.
with perforated vinyl.
perforated vinyl is what happens is the graphic tends to look a little bit less brilliant or bright, but it
Mhm.
allows more light through both inside and outside. Like you can kind of see.
Yeah, yeah. And, you know, the idea
It's used on a
being,
lot of car windows, like when you
Sure.
see those wraps.
Or buses.
That's the
Does it
same.
Still meet your security or your privacy
Yeah,
requirements?
yes.
okay. Yeah, I do think that that would be better. So I'm glad to know that's an option.
Yeah, it is.
I have another,
So one question that we have,
Mhm.
or one concern that I might have,
Mhm.
the window, like right now, the graphics were going to be in frames or in illuminated cases. So they weren't the full window.
Mhm.
When you do the perforated vinyl, typically it will go mullion to mullion, so it
Mhm.
doesn't peel.
Yeah, I was kind
So
of
they would
wondering
Be
why
a little bit
wouldn't,
larger to
Yeah.
cover the whole window.
yeah, why not just do the whole window? You probably
We
prefer
would
that, wouldn't you?
want
We
to
would
in
prefer
this
to,
application.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, originally we didn't want to put a larger light box in the windows,
I
but
think it would actually look better if you did.
but we're only talking about the 75.5-inch sections. The
Correct.
47.5-inch sections would remain clear.
correct.
Mhm. And then I guess the other funny thing is you're talking about the lower section too, right? Like,
You go to that horizontal.
yeah,
Yep.
which I guess must be about 6 feet high, just based on, you know, if you're saying it's 12 feet tall,
I think it's 8 feet.
8 feet?
Yeah.
Yeah,
even
'cause
better.
it's aligned with the head of the door.
Yep.
Well, don't look at that. Look at the
Okay.
picture.
Oh, gotcha.
The
Yeah.
elevation is
All
not
right.
the as-built
Yeah.
condition.
Yeah.
I'll warn you.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I mean, to me, I think that would be a better installation. I don't know how everyone else feels.
I agree.
Yeah, I think so.
You know, going back to the signage at the corner on, you know, on the projection, that's the metal panels we were talking about. Here's one thing that wasn't clear to me. So there's one side, it's 200 inches long. The other side, I guess, is a little bit different.
144.
Yeah, one's 144, one's 200 inches. Any reason they're different? What's those lengths have?
I mean, I think
They're,
that
they're different because the walls are different
So-
sizes.
the length doesn't concern me as much as the height. They are different heights,
Mhm.
and I think that's going to look odd on that corner.
I would agree.
Yeah.
They really should be the same height.
Yeah, I didn't even catch that. Thanks for pointing that out.
It's like just a couple inches.
Jeff, and you said, Jeff, we had a recent application for another one up New Street, and do you know the height of that one?
Yeah, it matches the height of the smaller sign
So
they're
20
proposing.
28
I
inches.
went back to that, those minutes. I don't, the overall dimensions, I'm not talking about the dimensions of any lettering or anything.
Just the height of the panel.
Yes, the
Is 28
panels-
inches.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'd request that we make both signs on both sides of that corner 28 inches tall.
Mhm.
At least the panel. I mean, ideally, they'd be the same sign on either side of that corner at 28 by 144.
Todd, can you see adding to that the sign on this elevation actually corresponds to the width of the existing joints?
Yeah, I mean, I'm less concerned personally with how they're mounting it and it
Mhm.
damaging the
Hmm.
landlord. I mean, that's between them and the landlord.
Yeah.
But I mean, ultimately, I think if they remove the sign, the landlord will have to replace that or
Yeah.
patch the holes somehow.
Yeah.
The Bondo, I don't know.
I agree that I think it'll look nicer if they're both the same
Yeah.
height.
Mhm.
You know, width I think makes sense because that space is bigger, but
Same height and length, you think, or just same height?
you can make it easy on yourself and just make them the same. I
If we
think.
do the same height, we would do the same
Same
length.
Because of the
You're going to show
proportion.
different proportions, otherwise it
Yeah.
throws their logo out of whack.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's important.
Yeah, so we can make them both the same size.
How about installing the vinyl graphics? Can you install the perforated vinyl graphics on the inside of the windows? Facing out?
I need to confirm that, but I believe we can.
Okay.
I'll have to check because that material is typically used on the outside surface of the window. I don't know if we can get it to apply to the inside, but if we can, I can check into that.
And I think the glass tinting may,
Kind of curious what they're
Are
going to say
those
about that.
windows tinted?
it looks like they're
I know.
tinted.
Okay.
Sorry. We're sidebarring. We're sidebarring.
Yeah, which we really should. Yeah.
Yeah.
Understood.
Do you're fine.
Applicant agreed to investigate potential for exterior application.
I was just mentioning
The
about
windows
that.
are tinted,
The
so
windows
I
are
don't
tinted, so
know.
that interior application, I don't,
Could
Oh,
make it harder to read.
yeah.
Okay.
So what is the intent to apply the graphics for the workroom on the inside face of the glass?
That is solid. So I think our intent would be to install it on the outside along with the other perforated graphics on the office side. So it's consistent, but I think also due to the window tinting.
Jeff, typically we recommend interior face, right? So we don't get vandalism.
Yeah, so the guidelines don't specify. The guidelines
Okay.
did not anticipate vinyl
Right.
window
Yeah.
signs.
Okay.
Historically, this body has requested interior installation on glass surfaces for to protect against vandalism, because once somebody strikes through it, also weather, it
Mhm.
protects
Dating.
things from peeling or bubbling. That's been your stance.
Yeah.
Again, I can't
Cleaner.
hold you to certain
Cleaning
things. I
it,
don't have
yeah.
anything in writing. It's just historically what you typically recommend.
But yeah, to me, I've always understood it was more of a maintenance thing. It's just going to hold up better if you kept it on the interior face. So, I don't know. I'm just wondering, yeah, it's a little bit tinted. Maybe maybe it will be okay. I don't know if you want to just do a small test area and see if
We
it
could
works for you.
sample it,
So-
absolutely.
Yeah.
The community bank banner in the picture is very visible,
Correct.
right? So
Yep.
we're probably going to be okay. It's probably
Probably gonna be
subtle
okay.
tint.
Sure.
Last item for me is we typically request a pinstripe around the border of the sign. It just makes things feel a little bit more like it fits into a historic district. I know this is a non-contributing building, but would you be amenable to a 1/4-inch black vinyl pinstripe around the outside, maybe inset an inch from the exterior?
Would you be
Border.
okay with orange?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would.
Mhm.
pinstripe more than the color.
Yeah.
Did we discuss the shade of white?
We did not.
No.
You heard Jeff mention that bright white is typically not what we'd like to see in the historic district. But again, non-contributory building. But if we can do a warmer off-white, that would be, I mean, I know you guys are probably, you have brand standards, right?
We have brand standards, and that's really not my call. I could recommend us trying to match the facade of the building potentially. But the white is, the other option would be
Mhm.
converting to an orange background with white text and logo. That's our backup compared to the white. Our white is our
Mhm.
preference.
Mhm. I'll say this: if the white is your corporate part of your corporate logo, I think based on that and that it's a non-contributing building, maybe we should go with that. But again, if at all possible to dull down that white, that's part of what we usually tell everyone.
I mean, ideally it'd match the St. Luke's and Lehigh University color on the
Yeah.
building.
Yeah.
If I was the landlord, I'd want it to match, but
Yeah.
And your
I don't
color,
know what that is.
your color palette on page 2 has like a secondary brand color. Is that white there? What you're planning on using? It's a 10% black in that one on the CMYK.
That's definitely not my expertise. I'm not the marketing side and the brand
No, that's fine. I was just
logo
wondering
side.
if that was
Um,
what your intentions were.
I know right now, white is the preferred and orange is our backup.
Okay.
Oh, and lastly, I think Jeff said that the letters were aluminum, painted aluminum, but I think your detail shows acrylic.
No, they're acrylic. They will
Okay.
be painted acrylic attached to the face of the aluminum.
Yeah, fine,
Sorry,
fine,
yes,
fine
they
by
are
me,
acrylic.
my either way. I just wanted to,
Yeah, they will
know
be
for sure.
acrylic attached to the aluminum
Thank you.
panel.
Yeah, any other questions or comments from the commission here? If not, can we have someone make a motion?
not have any public.
Thank you. Any public comment here? No. Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right, I'll try to tackle a motion based on all the comments and discussion. Firstly, motion to approve the presented package with the following revisions. Number one, signs on either side of the corner will both be the same height at, I believe, 28 inches, actually the same height and width. Just a minor clarification that the lettering is acrylic, painted acrylic and not aluminum. And the applicant has agreed to add an orange pinstripe around the border of the signage. I'd say set it in an inch from the edge and a 1/4 inch pinstripe. Waiting for Jeff to catch up.
Okay, good. Yes.
Second revision is that the vinyl window graphics in the workroom will be concept B, installed mullion to mullion, and will be applied on the interior face of the glass.
I think there was also a note about the offset of the main signage too on the metal panels.
Just for mounting.
Oh, yeah, they
For
confirmed
mounting.
that it was going to be centered left.
Yeah, Jeff, if we could back up to the main signage, we'd just like to see those centered within the metal panel area.
Got it. Thank you.
The vinyl graphics in the offices will be installed in the 75-inch wide glazing sections. Again, installed mullion to mullion and on the interior face of the glass.
Did you mention it's a perforated vinyl?
I did not. We'll include in the motion that the vinyl is perforated. At the offices, not at the workroom. The vinyl in the workroom is frosted, right? Essentially. Yeah.
Very good.
And I think that's it.
Any seconds on this motion?
Second.
Thank you. Let's put it to vote. Craig?
Aye.
Can I
Desiree?
ask a question quick?
Sure,
Are
please.
we okay with the vinyl on the doors, the hours?
Yeah, I have no
Okay.
comments or revision. I was curious though, what's the U-shaped holder?
It's an hours insert, so it's just an
Oh,
acrylic
okay, so
holder,
it's like a
so we
sleeve.
can easily change our
Okay,
hours
great,
as
perfect.
the demands.
Very good.
Yep.
Yeah, I have no comments or concerns about the graphics at the doors.
Okay, so we'll continue with the vote then. And I'm sorry, Desiree?
Aye.
Okay, I vote aye. Todd?
Aye.
Mike? Aye. Great. Motion carries unanimously and thank you. And we're excited to have you in our community.
Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
And don't
very much.
forget, next stop is zoning.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, our next agenda item will be 1315 East Third Street. And again, as you find your way to the table, if you could just announce your names and sign in.
And rather than signature, please print your name so I can capture that in the minutes, please. Thank you.
Emmanuel Patricio.
Neil Shaw.
Emmanuel, Neil, thank you for coming.
So property location is 13 through 15 East Third Street. Building description, period, style, and defining features. These adjacent, attached, three-story structures are tan brick masonry, commercial and residential buildings with front-facing pediments, corbelled brick details, large format cast stone elements, flat roofs with simple upper cornices, and metal capped parapets. Both large storefronts were modified during the mid-20th century by dividing them into several retail spaces, resulting in the loss of many defining architectural features. The front facades include 1/1 double-hung windows in anodized bronze finish, while the second floor level windows are arched and include metal panels within the arches. That implies these are not original windows. They're replaced over time. These buildings were formerly the F.W. Grand store and date from circa 1915. They are classical revival in style with Romanesque details and are possibly the work of Bethlehem's renowned architect A.W. Lay. Proposed alterations: the applicant proposes to paint the brick facade, quote, beige in color, window arches, window insets, trim, and fascia, quote, barely brown in color, window trim, wood trim, flashing, fascia, and accents, quote, deep forest, which I'm assuming is a green in color. The guideline citations I used for my assessment include Secretary of Interior Standard number 9, quote, deteriorated historic features will be repaired rather than replaced. Where the severity of deterioration requires replacement of a distinctive feature, the new feature will match the old in design, color, texture, and other visual qualities, and where possible, material. Now, that doesn't immediately reflect what they're putting forth, but it'll become more obvious in my assessment. Also, Secretary of Interior Standard number 7, quote, chemical or physical treatments, if appropriate, will be undertaken using the gentlest means possible. Treatments that cause damage to historic materials will not be used, end quote. Also, the Bethlehem Ordinance that Mr. Lader read at the beginning of tonight's meeting, and also specifically within the design guidelines for the Historic Conservation Commission, I referenced the pages concerning masonry and stucco. So my evaluation, the effect on the district and recommendations. The Certificate of Appropriateness application indicates the intent to paint the front facades of both adjoining structures. While the HCC is always willing to offer guidance to applicants concerning typical historical paint colors found within the Historic Conservation District, the HCC is not commissioned based on your ordinance and also your guidelines. You are not commissioned with determining appropriateness of paint colors. That's different than HARB, where there are specific paint swatches. In response, the applicant is allowed to paint the various windows, trims, flashings, and fascia in the proposed color schemes following discussion with HCC. Now, in the past, you have worked with the applicant to clarify if the proposed colors are indeed what they're going to do so that I can capture them in the motion. Even though you don't review the colors, we typically do capture a motion so that City Council is aware that painting is going to happen. However, the applicant's proposal to paint the existing tan brick masonry facades and the cast stone elements is inappropriate based on the relevant design guidelines, which specifically state, quote, the HCC will not recommend for approval applying waterproof or water repellent coatings on masonry and stucco, end quote. The HEC has traditionally interpreted this guideline to also include paint applied to unpainted masonry and stucco surfaces. Discussion with the applicant is warranted to understand the proposed necessity to paint the masonry surfaces. And that's how now the Secretary of Interior standards come into play.
Mhm.
So the Secretary of Interior, if they claim the brick facades are deteriorated and or the cast masonry elements, Secretary of Interior standards does not reference painting over, but rather repairing and replacing in kind, rather than covering over. If necessary, chemical or physical treatment should be undertaken using the gentlest means possible. It should be noted that the historic officer, myself, in combination with Mr. Simonson, were contacted by the applicant last month. And in response, I provided them with a series of preservation briefs.
Mhm.
Those are booklets ranging from, say, 10 to 20 pages. Admittedly, some of those pages aren't necessarily relevant to what we're seeing here, so it does take some time to go through them. But there were various preservation briefs that had to do with cleaning masonry facade surfaces, using the gentlest means possible, satisfying that requirement, and where needed to attempt masonry facade repairs that would be appropriate rather than painting. Those were sent to the applicant on August 22nd. So with that, I will turn it over to you and your discussion with the applicant.
Okay, all right. Well, again, thank you both for coming here tonight. And, you probably sense the big discussion item is why are you painting the brick and the cast stone? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
So originally, we wanted to clean. There's a lot of carbon buildup on the brick,
Sure.
so that was our original intention. But it's been there for a long time, so it's kind of hard to take off.
Yeah.
So we want to update and renovate the building, and we want the building to look up to par with what we want to do with the storefront and inside. So just to make it look clean, we decided, hey, instead of having all that carbon soot on it, let's just paint it. However, we did speak to a few people in your office, and we did some research on maybe some products that can help take that carbon off. And we found another solution, and we want to actually propose that today, if we
Oh,
can clean it with One Restore, and see if you guys would allow us to use that product instead of painting, because we do want to keep the brick, the original brick. That wasn't our original goal or plan. It's just we didn't know how to deal with the carbon soot. But like I said, after doing more research and talking to your team, we came up with other solutions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sounds great. Yeah. Did you want to present some of that right now?
Yep, absolutely. There's 5.
And what would you be looking to do? Like a small section just to test it out, see how it works, and then like go ahead and do it? Or are you gonna just start applying it right at the bat?
Correct. We will try one section, see how the product works. I spoke to my masonry supplier, and
Thanks.
he said that that's friendly to the environment. That's a good one. It's used in a lot of historical districts. So there's 2 packets there. There's one packet that just has some information on the product, and then the second packet has some of the chemicals and everything that's in that product. And I also included an image of the building where we highlighted where the carbon soot is.
There's
So-
a red box around where most of the carbon soot is.
You could have mine when I'm.
Can you clarify too? It sounded like you were saying that you had already actually done some cleaning of the building.
Yes, we did. There was a bit of a misunderstanding. We came to
Mhm.
the city of Bethlehem, and there was some misunderstanding there. So we started some of the work, and then they told us we needed to stop and to come in front of the HEC.
Okay.
So we stopped the work, and now we're here. So
Oh, okay. Well, tell us a little bit more. Like, was it just a simple power washing you had started to do?
no, I have a mason that came out and tried some products just on a corner there, and he was unsuccessful. But then, like I mentioned, after we spoke with your team, we started doing our own research and figuring out what products would work best for that brick and
Okay.
just historical buildings.
Okay. Well, it sounds to me like you're on a good track. I'm glad, I'm glad to hear you're, looking into this and because, I was going to say myself, yeah, I think you're much better off if you don't paint over the brick and the cast stone. So, if that's the direction you're going in, great.
There is on the side of the building. I don't know if you guys just regulate the facade or the side as well, but I included a picture of the side of the building. That one, we feel, I mean, unless you guys have another recommendation, we feel like we may have to paint because we have to repoint it all. And there's a lot of brick that needs to be repaired there. So trying to match those bricks with the repairs we're going to have to do. Plus, there's already about 2 or 3 different tones of brick. So when you're coming off the bridge, it just looks really bad. It's an eyesore.
It's very visible from a lot of different areas.
So
I would totally disagree in that it looks bad. I would much rather have, and this is totally subjective,
Yeah.
but I'd much rather have true masonry visible and see that it's been cared for and patched by, repointing or, have patches with, bricks that attempt to match what's there rather than see everything painted. I mean, I think painting brick should absolutely be the last resort. I think you're just opening yourself up for a maintenance headache down the road too, as well as the paint's eventually going to start to fall off, and it's going to be an eyesore in the city.
okay, I mean, I know the pictures don't look as clear, but when you're up there, it's pretty bad.
I do
there's different.
see areas of concern with
Yeah.
repointing here.
Yeah, it does. So
Outside.
I do want to point out a couple of things.
Yeah.
Usually experienced masons know this, but on many of the buildings in our historic district, you want to be careful that you use a mortar that has no Portland cement in it because on older brick buildings, Portland cement is too strong for old brick. Again, just something to be careful about. You should ask your mason about that. Often they know that.
Yeah.
The other thing to keep in mind is brick is meant to breathe. And if you have a situation where you're putting a coat of paint on brick that is going to tend to hold moisture in, that will create a lot of problems for you too. So, we're probably going to steer you away from painting the brick if at all possible. But that and getting the appropriate mortar are going to be 2 key things for you. And there are a number of great masonry masons around who could help you with the brick restoration. We have a very good masonry supply place here in Bethlehem. That's a good resource too. Beth Hanover Supply. They could. Yep. And, they could direct you to, any number of good contractors as well. Hopefully the person you already contacted is going to be a good bet for you too. But these are all probably things you'll find in the preservation briefs as well that Jeff mentioned he had sent you.
Now, once you guys clean the front up with this, with
One
the
Restore.
One Restore, do you think there'll be any repointing or anything that'll have to take place at that point?
Not on the facade. Most of the brick, the repointing just has to be done on the side of the building. All the brick on the facade is in pretty good condition. There was some parts that of terracotta, just a small portion of terracotta that needs to be repaired. Are we able to repair that? You guys give us a green light to repair that?
With terracotta,
Yeah. Yeah, like a terracotta compound.
like a 1-for-1 replacement?
Yeah. It's going to look exactly the same, just kind of fill in some chip spots.
I don't see
Yeah, that's not a problem.
I don't see any issue with that at all.
Another question I did have, am I free to ask questions?
Oh, of course. Of course.
We do have the green light to paint the aluminum window frames, correct? And when it comes to, there's some molding on the triangle. I don't know if you can see at the top of the building to the left there. And there's like a cornice, a wood wood trim on the cornice up there. That we can paint freely, correct?
Yes, and as Jeff was saying too, in the district you're in, we do not dictate paint colors, but I think Jeff is looking for us to somehow just record what you are planning to use.
Well, we did submit a few color options, so we're gonna. I think there was about 3 there, so we'd be using those 3 colors, probably. Some kind of variation of those 3. So it's about a tan, a dark hunter green,
Okay.
and an off white. That's kind of the concept we're going for there.
Okay. And I could also point out too, if you're at all questioning or struggling, there's some great resources for color selection. I could point you in the right way. I know Benjamin Moore over on Linden has somebody in the house who's an expert at this sort of thing. Just let me know if you need help with that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, and one other thing about this while I'm on it. I know typically companies like maybe both Sherwin-Williams and Benjamin Moore, they have specifically a set of colors that are historically appropriate too, that you might want to reference if you haven't found that out already.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, and they'll be similar to the colors you have picked. It just have a little bit of a different tint to it.
Okay.
So any other questions or comments on this?
So just to clarify, we are able to do the brick repointing. That's not an issue, and repair the brick. Granted, we use the mortar compound that you mentioned. However, you just don't want us to paint it. Correct.
Yeah, that's correct. So, I think your application for tonight was entirely related to painting of the front facade, as I understand it.
Mhm.
If you are looking to do brick restoration, I think that's actually, Mike, does that fall under the category of repair? Or is it?
We don't even have to review that.
No.
No, if they're just doing restoration of the
And the
existing
paint,
brick,
and
that's
any
just
paint work is
maintenance.
similarly maintenance.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
it would only be the question of painting the section that they're pointing on the side.
Okay.
That would be the only element that, and we review that because it's visible from the street.
So we just want to capture in the motion that the side and front facade will be
Repaired in kind.
repaired in kind.
Okay. All right. Either of you ready to make a motion then?
It sounded like a motion to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll make the motion to
Thank you.
repair the front facade and the side portion of the brick of the building in kind. And in the ability to paint the windowsills and the small amount of wood, I guess it'd be trim.
Should we even be voting on what's basically repair of the masonry? And
Well, let's let Mike finish his
Yeah.
motion
Well,
first.
I mean, before I do finish the motion, do we just want to capture the trim and kind of leave it at that?
do you have to come before this board to paint window frames and wood trim?
Well, the question to me is they came with an application to paint the entire facade, and I think maybe that needs to be captured in a
Yeah,
motion.
you're right. You're right, Gary. We do need to do something about that.
Okay.
We can't.
So then I'll just amend their application to paint the trim and the windowsills as opposed to the entire facade of the building.
Mhm.
Trim and window frames and only.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. Was there some coping at the roof or something that was part of this? I don't know.
I think it's all stone.
Yeah, I think it's all stone.
Okay. Okay, is
Looks like
there?
there's some wood trim at the top. That's all.
Right at the top. Yep.
There is, right?
Yeah.
So
It's easier
I,
to see on Google Street View.
yeah, I
Oh
mean,
yeah, because they gave us a second drawing, a blown up drawing where they show the painting of what they're going to propose to paint.
Right.
And that top, does look like that top wood The top is proposed to be painted.
Would you add to the motion that existing brick and cast stone will be cleaned with a gentle, non-destructive type cleaner?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll add that.
And any repairs should be done as repointing and or patching with compatible masonry.
Compatible or in-kind materials.
Yep. Perfect.
Okay, all right, I think we got there.
Yeah.
Any seconds on this?
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. And I don't know if I'm doing things in the right order, but I assume there's no public comment.
No?
All right, thank you, Ed. Okay, so we shall put it to a vote. Greg, Desiree?
Aye.
Aye. Todd?
Aye.
And I.
Aye, and motion carries. And again, thank you for your time and for your investment.
Thank you for your
Thank you.
time. Appreciate it.
Can you guys just, let's close the meeting.
Yeah.
Make a motion
Don't
to
wait.
Approve minutes?
approve the minutes
Okay,
Second.
and a motion to adjourn.
okay.
All in one motion.
All in one.
Do we have any new or old business to take care of tonight? I don't know. Okay. All right, so we are officially adjourned.
All I wanted to say is when you guys do that clean